What is your name?
Marcia Mercer.
Marcia. And Marcia, where are you from?
Originally Elma, Michigan, Gratiot County, Central Michigan.
And dare I ask how old you are?
I'm 65.
Okay. So, how long have you been a full-time RVer?
Full-time RVer about 3.5 years.
Wow, that's awesome. So, what made you want to go full-time?
Um, I've always known I wanted to travel, and my husband and I were camping at a place in northern Michigan, and the couple who was managing the park were work campers. And they, kind of gave us the idea that we could travel and, see the country. And then we got divorced, and I continued camping and decided that that was what I wanted to do. And the couple had given me a magazine, a work camper news magazine. And when I found it in my files later and checked on the computer, they were getting ready to have their first 3-day seminar called a rendezvous in Heber Springs, Arkansas. So I decided that since I wanted to work and travel, that was the way to do it, and I could get the best information. So I drove myself, my little trailer that I had at the time, down to Arkansas, went to the seminar, and said, okay, this is what I want for my lifestyle. This is what I want to do. And that was the first step. And 2 years later, I went full time.
Do you feel like that seminar really helped you?
Oh, indubitably. I learned, and the thing is I learned a lot from the seminars. It was 3 full days, and very inexpensive if you compare the cost of it for what I got out of it. It was just immeasurable. But I learned a lot from the other attendees. And I've gone every year since the first one. That was April 2011. And so this will be coming up on the 6th one in next month that I'm going to be going to. And I've learned a lot. I've made a lot of friends. I have contacts with people who, travel and do the same thing. Sometimes full-time, sometimes not full-time, but I've learned a lot and made friends. So that's been a good incentive too.
That's awesome. What is your rig? So what do you travel full-time
in? This is a 1998, so it's 18 years old, Sunnybrook Mobile Scout. It's a 33 RKFS, rear kitchen full slide. It has a washer. So I've got this big open living area, and then a combination walk-through bath and bedroom, 2 slides, and I don't know how much square footage it is, but it's very roomy.
Yes, definitely. Roomier than mine. Is this your first rig?
No. We started out in 1973 with a Venture by Starcraft pop-up. We sold that a few years later and went to a tent and went back to a pop-up in 94. In 98, we bought a 24-foot no-slide travel trailer, which I drove down the road once or twice. I didn't do any backing or parking or anything. We had that for a while. I got divorced, wanted to continue camping, bought a 19-foot travel trailer, learned how to tow it, hitch it, back it, all the stuff. I did myself, and then I bought this for full timing, and so this is number 5 rig. On an average, if you like the lifestyle, you have 7 rigs during your lifetime. So I'm on number 5. I got 2 more to go.
So you definitely have previous RV experience.
Yes.
So before you became a single RVer full time, did you have any camping experience by yourself like that?
Yeah. My husband wasn't real keen on camping, so when we had the pop-ups, a lot of times he would he would take it, get it set up, stay a night, go back home, go to work. I'd stay for the week, and in another vehicle with another vehicle to get around. And but I did a lot of with the pop ups. I did most of the setting up and putting back down.
Got it.
So
So you have children, right?
I have 3 grown sons now.
So what does your family think about you traveling like this?
I talked about it for years, so they weren't real surprised when I finally said, "Okay, this is it. I'm going to retire and hit the road and full time." And I knew I didn't want the responsibility of having a sticks and bricks sitting empty or renting out or something like that. So it just this was the lifestyle. And it's my space. It's my home even though it has wheels.
Right. So have you had any issues since you started full timing? Any incidents or anything like that?
Oh, I've had some things happen on the road, like the bike popped out of the bike carrier and dragged through a construction zone. I had a window somehow blew out.
While you were driving?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it went down the road behind me. I have had tire issues. Not a blowout, but almost. Just, things that, I do the repairs. Like I get up on the roof and wash it and put new sealant down and, whatever needs to be done. Other than the heavy duty stuff.
Right.
But.
So have you had any issues being a single woman on the road?
Not that was anything that I couldn't handle. My 9 to 5 job before I retired was with a banking corporation. So I'd gone through, like, once or twice a year, they would have the security seminars, to be aware of what's going on because of possibility of robbery. So I was aware of that personal and positional security in and around the rig. And when I'm traveling, a lot of times, mostly, I've stayed in rest areas, truck stops, things like that. The only time I had a real issue was I pulled into a campground because there was a weather alert came over the radio. And I pulled into a campground, and I should have just turned around and left then, but I did shortly after. I got in, got settled. The guy took me to the lot, helped me get the electric and water hooked up. There was only 2 other rigs and no other people in the park. It was old. It was not in good repair. And as he got ready to leave, he says, "Oh, by the way, if you need to use the restroom, shower," he said, "take your own paper because I haven't been to the store." And I called my mom to let her know where I was at, and I said, "I'm not staying. I don't care what the weather is happening. I'm not staying." I went back, I got my money back, and got on the road, went down probably 5-10 miles and found a Corps of Engineers park that was a great place to stay. So,
wow.
You just have to be on guard.
For sure. So you are a single work camper. You work camp here just like I do. Have you had any issues finding a job being a single woman? Because I know most of them are like wanting couples.
I haven't. I've been really lucky. The first 2 summers I worked at Adventureland Amusement Park outside Des Moines, Iowa. While I was there, I heard about See's Candy and ended up working the first 2 winter holiday seasons in Florida at a mall kiosk selling chocolate. It was a real hard job. That led to the couple who was the team leaders for See's had worked at a Jellystone Yogi Bear Park in Northeast Indiana. So I worked there the 3rd summer. Then the park where my parents are in Florida, I got a job with another park that belonged to the same corporation a mile away in their office part-time. So that's what I did the third winter. And now this summer I'm here at Double J and thoroughly enjoyed it. I've met the greatest people on the road and at things I've attended and places I've worked. So make friends
No
all
real
over.
issues being a
No,
single work camper.
no, so far not.
That's good. So, what kind of places have you traveled to?
It's been pretty much just barely the other side of the Mississippi into Des Moines. Um, from there to Arkansas for the work camper rendezvous. Then down to Florida and then north in Indiana and Michigan and Iowa for the summer. So it's pretty much the east half of the United States.
Do you have any favorite places so far?
Um, I've enjoyed each place I've been, just for the uniqueness of that place. And there's a lot of things on the bucket list that, are hopefully upcoming places I'll be able to work camp and explore the area.
Right. That's cool. So, do you plan on doing this pretty long term then?
Oh, probably for the next 10 years at least.
Awesome.
With any luck at all and health staying good and yeah.
Which brings me into my next question. Do you miss being in a house and being stationary?
No. Being from central Michigan, it's like I really have enjoyed not having the snow. I mean, I enjoyed it when I lived there. I love the change of seasons, but the older I get, the less I appreciate the ice and snow.
Right, I'm right
And
there with you.
my youngest son had been living with me, and he bought the last home that I had. So a lot of my stuff is still there. So when I go home, it's to his home, but it has my stuff. So that's twice a year. Spring and fall, I go do the doctor things and the dentist and all that stuff.
Very cool. That also leads into my next question. How do you deal with medical issues on the road, and do you have insurance or anything?
I had Cobra, a Blue Cross policy through after I worked. Then Obamacare came in, and I got a similar Blue Cross policy through my home state. And then last December, I became eligible for Medicare, and I took the, nationwide plan and, worked with that. So far, so good. It hasn't been an issue.
That's awesome. So I'm so curious if you have any issues like detaching the fifth wheel by yourself or putting it back together, because I've definitely done this by myself and it was very tricky for me when I started.
Because I had worked with the pop-up and with the travel trailer that we had and the one I had, it was just a matter of learning the idiosyncrasies of the fifth wheel. How high to get it so you can get on it and off the base, easily. But other than that, the chucking the wheels and all that other stuff and hooking up and unhooking the utilities is all the same. So it's just the specifics for the fifth wheel hitch. But other than that, I have no problems.
Does it take you a while to hook it up by yourself?
Not anymore. It's not as much in and out of the truck by myself, getting the height adjustments,
right,
tweaked. But other than that, it's hook it up, make sure it's not going to pop back out, and off we go down the road and make wide turns.
Right. So do you have any advice for single RVers who maybe are RVing already, just starting?
Make sure they're with Work Camper News somewhere on their system, and it's open. I think that part of it is open to anybody who wants to navigate through. But there's a 12-month plan which you can compress, to however length it's going to be between when you make the decision and when you want to go out on the road. What you need to do as far as getting the family in on it and, do I keep the house? Do I not? You know, all those kind of issues are discussed. And I think that's the big thing, is making sure you've got your ducks in a row to what's going to work for you, and not to make any sudden decisions until you've, you know, worked out all the small details.
I totally agree with that. So, any advice for people who have not even done this before, who are just thinking about the lifestyle? I know you had mentioned going to that seminar had really helped you.
There was a little book that I got, and I can't remember if I got the name correctly, but it's something about running away from home at age 50. And it's just got a little cartoon cover with him and her popped out of an RV, and I don't remember who even wrote the book, but it was their journal in their preparation for going on the road. And you know, renting one or borrowing one, or, you know, whatever, you know, make sure that it's what you can do, that you can learn to live in a small space. You know, that you don't need all the stuff. And what you think you can't live without, put it in storage. And at some point, you either give it up, or, you know, you put it back into a sticks and bricks. And eventually, I know, I will go back into a sticks and bricks, but probably it will be a park model in Florida and an RV somewhere up north, probably in Michigan, you know, for the summer months when it's too hot to be in Florida. It'll be the backward snowbird.
Very cool. Well, I definitely appreciate you letting me talk to you. Do you care if you give us a little tour of your space?
No, that'd be fine. Center door, middle living area, dinette, and my rear kitchen, which in this particular model is an L-shaped, and it works really well. It gives me enough counter space, which having this glass top or some kind of top on the stove extends. I have made a couple of modifications in the kitchen. I installed these pull-out drawers. I've got 3 of them. One for canned goods on the bottom, where you want your weight on the bottom, and the lighter weight stuff, and this one on the top shelf. There wasn't room in any other cupboards to add these, but it really made a difference in keeping things contained.
Right, definitely. That would be so much easier than...
Because this cupboard was absolutely unmanageable, because you couldn't get into it and out of it unless you were laying on your stomach on the floor. And then I have little Velcro bands that go around to keep those from sliding out when I'm on the road. And I have a pantry. I have lots of cupboards. And this was one thing, putting, these are glass, these are Corelle, but putting them this way instead of trying to stack them where they would slide worked really well.
That's very cool. So you're very comfortable making your own modifications.
Yeah. I like to watch DIY. And I changed the color scheme in here. The curtains are new. They had these box things on them. I didn't like them. It blocked a lot of light. I hated the material of the couch, so this is a slip cover that, you know, was here when I got it. So I pretty much, other than a couple of things, I got my sister and I got some material, and we covered the dinette chairs, new material on them so that it would match. And I brought things from home to make it homey, make it mine. And then walk-through bath.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
With a corner. This is a quarter round shower, which has got some storage in it right now. But this slides back, and it's plenty big enough. Don't need a huge one, and I'm not knocking my elbows even in this. Powder room here. Then my washer.
Oh, how cool!
I don't have a dryer, but I do have a washer.
That is seriously
and
so
I put
awesome.
the bar in here. The shelf was up there. So then One thing I do like about this one is the vanity has countertop. They didn't take the whole countertop and make it a sink, which you don't need. You don't need a great big sink in the bathroom. You just need something to catch the water when you wash your hands. The medicine cabinet, I've got like baskets and bins because you have a whole lot of small things and it's easier to keep them contained if they're in something, because you can just pick it up, pull it out, get what you need, put it back in. And these are oversized pencil boxes, but they've got a lot of small things in them. It makes it easier just to grab that and put it back. I've changed, this is an LED strip. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, I do see it.
It used to have a fluorescent tube.
Mm-hmm.
These are cooler, they're brighter. I have one here and I replaced the one over the sink with the same kind of LED strips. And that makes it a lot easier, and because those are 12 volt and now they're LED, they don't get hot and they take a lot less energy off the battery when I'm boondocking. Then I've got storage all the way across the back front. That's the front of the RV.
This is such a huge space.
It's a queen bed.
It is really big and spacious. That's awesome. Oh, so this is your second slide.
That's the second slide. Yep.
Okay.
So this comes in, the end of the bed kind of slides a little bit underneath this countertop when the bed comes in, because this is a normal queen mattress rather than a short queen.
Oh.
But it does slide underneath there. It drops just a little bit, enough to pop underneath there. And so because you've still got the full use of the bed when I'm traveling, if I want a boondock, you know, I just have to go around. The slide comes into about right here, so I still got room to get on the bed.
Right.
I've got room to get through the living room into the kitchen with the slide in.
Which is important.
Yes. When I was camping, we had the travel trailer, the 24-footer. We were at a campground and talking with another couple, and she told me, she said, if you're going to full-time or you're going to travel a lot in boondock, that you need to have access to the bed, the bathroom, and the refrigerator with all the slides in.
Right.
So that's something I've kept in mind, and it is very true. It's so much easier because you can stop anywhere, you know, and still be able to get to the necessities.
Right. I've definitely been in some campers before where there's just no access because their slides are all in. You just can't walk around.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So very cool. Very important. Guys, listen to that tip. So, all right. Thank you so much for letting me tour your awesome RV. It is a very beautiful RV, and I appreciate you letting me tour it and interview you. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.